You guys know the singer Pink. I'm sure many of you do. Pink. Next time you hear one of her songs, she does this in quite a few of them, not all of them. She goes, "Oh, listen to my flow. Oh." It's just supposed to be But Pink says, "Oh." And now every time I hear some of her songs and I hear her say that, it drives me nuts because I'm now looking for it and listening. Oh, she did it there too. It sounds terrible. Pink, what are you doing? But when I saw this article headline, it made me think, aw. The IMF, Zero Hedge is covering this, IMF slashes U.S. GDP forecast. Says Trump's growth target is quote unquote unrealistic, which made me think, aw. Not aw, but just aw, like aw, in a Pink kind of way. The IMF has cut its U.S. GDP forecast to 2.1% in 2017 from 2.3% projected in April, and to 2.1% for 2018 from 2.5% previously. It said in a statement following its U.S. article for consultation, and saying it could no longer assume the Trump administration will be able to deliver pledged tax cuts and higher infrastructure spending. Specifically, in giving up on the Trump agenda, the fund said, "We have removed the assumed fiscal stimulus from our forecast." Worse, the revised U.S. forecast is now expected to peak in 2017, remains flat in 2018, and then continues to decline to 1.7, not gigawatts, 1.7% by 2022, which once upon a time was considered stall speed. In its annual review of the American economy, the IMF questioned the White House's plan to accelerate output and said it was skeptical the administration would be able to rev up the world's largest growth engine to a sustained 3% annual rate. Instead, the fund forecasts the growth rate will steadily fall over the next 5 years towards 1.7%, assuming no major policy changes. IMF GDP forecast. Well, I don't really need to show it. Amusingly, it was only in April that the IMF said President Trump's tax overhaul plans and spending stimulus could goose the growth rate to 2.5% next year, up from 2.3% this year. But after talks with administration officials amid still evolving policy plans, the fund says it can no longer factor such fiscal stimulus into its forecast. The IMF now says the economy will expand by 2.1% this year and next. And as the Wall Street Journal notes, initial optimism about the administration's ability to get a tax revamp and infrastructure spending has faded in the face of mounting political hurdles. And you can now add the healthcare again, and we're going to have a talk. We're going to vote on it. We don't have the votes again. We're going to talk to Rand Paul. We still don't have the votes again. We're now not going to deal with this until after the 4th of July. Let freedom ring. Let the whole world sing that we got screwed again on Independence Day. Sorry about that. Quote, all in all, in our judgments, the U.S. economic model is not working as well as it could in generating broadly shared income growth. Oh, you mean like only the 1%'s growing? Their wealth's growing exponentially. Then again, some of us, myself included, are not the 1%. And our wealth just recently has grown exponentially in crypto land. Crypto land. They should make a movie starring J Snip 4. From geek to chic. Not really. 5K to 93K, that's not geek to chic, but that is phenomenal. I can never let you live that down the rest of your lives. You're going to hear me saying that forever. And then you may hear me follow that up with, oh, and remember the second trade I did after that one? And then the third one, oh my God. And then you guys are going to reply, yeah, I got on that one too. Dude, I made this much. And we're going to live happily ever after. That's how the story's going to end. The IMF also disagreed with the Trump administration's optimistic economic forecasts, questioning whether the package as proposed will deliver the administration's long-term growth targets, balance the budget, and cut public debt. What are you or anybody smoking, whoever even thought this? Cut public debt. There's not a chance in hell public debt's going to be cut. Even with an ideal constellation of pro-growth policies, the potential growth dividend is likely to be less than the projected in the budget, and will take longer to materialize, the IMF said. International experience in U.S. history suggests a sustained acceleration in annual growth of more than 1 percentage point is unlikely, the IMF said. And of note, the IMF said that given the weakness in the economy, the Fed should aim to temporarily overshoot its 2% inflation target by gradually easing into its planned interest rate increases. And some of us are old enough to remember when cutting rates was supposed to boost inflation. Some highlights of the IMF statement: the outlook is clouded by important medium-term imbalances. The U.S. economic model is not working as well as it could in generating broadly shared income growth. Real GDP is now 12% higher than its pre-recession peak. Job growth has been persistently strong, and the economy appears to be back at full employment. Excuse me? 4.3% unemployment. You saw the numbers. The retail apocalypse is happening. Auto sales apocalypse is happening. Where are all these people going? They're just getting dumped and finding jobs? Fed must well telegraph balance sheet reduction plans. U.S. needs lower tax rate, simpler system with fewer exemptions. Tax reform should focus on increasing revenues, GDP over the medium term, including through a broad-based federal level consumption tax, a carbon tax, and a higher federal gas tax, says the IMF. Carbon tax. We need a carbon tax. There's your answer. That's why the whole global warming garbage nonsense was ever put in front of our faces. And I've talked to you about this before. It's all about the carbon tax. It was Al Gore's plan. Remember, I told you when I started to wake up, it was like 2005 and 2006, and then Al Gore's movie came out, An Inconvenient Truth, and I'm on my very, very early path to waking up, and I went and saw the movie. Man, that guy, stupid Bush. I wish Al Gore won the presidency. I wish he was our president. He sees all these problems. He's trying to do something about it. Damn, I like Al Gore. I want to find out more now. Now my mind's, I got to find out more about this global warming. And then I quickly found out it's an effing lie. The science he's talking about is garbage. All of the planets were heating up at the same time. We're not polluting Pluto. We're not polluting Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Venus. How could they possibly heat up at the same time Earth is heating up in the same global warming period? Now I'm really upset. And now I've realized I've been professionally lied to. First time I ever figured that out as far as coming from government and whatnot. And now I'm angry. And now I want to look at more things. And it led me to finance and market manipulation and silver and gold and conspiracies and fake shootings and 9/11 conspiracies. Whoa. Holy crap. And here I am today. But I figured out during that, this is all about carbon credits. In the way that they want it to work, here's how it's going to work if it ever goes through, and you don't want it to go through, ever. You have a company, you're company A, and I'm company B. And we have allotted a certain number of carbon credits to you and myself. That's what the government says. This is, I don't know what they base it on, but company A, you have 10,000 credits. Company B, you have 10,000 credits, carbon credits. Company A is a little bit of a polluter. Not doing anything any other company hasn't done in the past 100 years, but they're a bit of a polluter by today's standards. Company B, on the other hand, doesn't really do that kind of stuff, manufacturing. It's just a software company, but they too have credits. So they're not really using any of their credits. They got a lot left over. They can then sell at a premium their credits to company A, who needs them bad because they've used all theirs and they're about to get hit hard by Uncle Sam, or EPA, or both, whatever. So we need some carbon credit. We need carbon credits. Company B, we'll buy those at a premium. I'll gladly sell you mine. Here you go. Now they're in compliance. They're still polluting the same though, correct? Yes, they are. So they just moved carbon credits from this hand to that hand. Well, not really hand, but company B to company A. Correct. Now they're in compliance. They're not going to get nailed with a big fine. So these carbon credits become valuable like a stock of a company, a share, a commodity. That's the whole purpose of this crap. And there it is by the IMF. Tax reform should focus on increasing revenues, not giving people tax breaks, right? GDP over the medium term, including through a broad-based federal level consumption tax. So they want us to have a consumption tax because we are a bunch of ignorant consumers, aren't we? A carbon tax, as I just explained, and a higher federal gas tax, which I'm okay with. You know why? You know why. I bought a 2015 Nissan Leaf fully electric plug-in. No gas, no hybrid, no oil, no spark plugs, no tune-up, nothing, no exhaust system. I plugged that bastard in for pennies on the dollar, basically. 84 miles worth of driving, in my case, with a 2015 model. Had 14,000 miles on it. I bought it for $10,000. We're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of us winning. I include myself on that. You got to find these deals and cryptos and this and that and win. Keep winning. On to the next one, my friends.